this vehicle here for about 15 minutes or so. Right now I can tell you that one of the front tires on that pickup truck has gone flat. We've been seeing sparks coming out of the vehicle, and you know, this is part of the problem as well, is that you can see right there that the helicopter, the airship, the LAPD airship has this same problem as we do as we work our way through these buildings. It is turning northbound right there. Again, we lose them behind the buildings. So the actual helicopter airship is unable to track, and they're using their PD down there on the ground. There he is once again. We've seen this guy make some very desperate moves, rear-ending a couple of cars, and also have been using the center lanes and going the wrong way on major streets out here. Again, you can see he's making another turn right now westbound 5th Street, and he hasn't been on any of the freeways.
Copy.
We've been going over the 110 freeway here several times this afternoon, and you can see again, look up, this time he's taking the southbound 110 freeway. This is the first time we've actually seen him get onto a freeway. Freeway traffic out here southbound is not that heavy, but there's definitely traffic out there this evening. I gotta get, there he is right there. Sorry about that, I lost my spot. And again, now we're going to be able to track this guy a lot better, and also the airship is back in the game as well. LAPD has been in pursuit of this vehicle, stolen vehicle, unknown what other items are in that truck, but we can tell you that he's been extremely desperate this this evening, doing very dangerous maneuvers, weaving in and out of traffic, using the center lane. Look at that, cutting off these other vehicles, getting off the freeway. And he's exiting Olympic. And again, this is the type of activity we've seen all evening. And again, he has only 3 tires on that truck. The driver's side front is believed to be flat. We saw sparks flying out of that tire earlier on. But you can see right now, we're going to be able to get a better look at that front wheel. And it does look like it is flat. Again, maybe your monitors are a little bit better, but we did see sparks coming out of that front vehicle earlier on. And now we're back over by the LA Live area. A lot of people out here this evening. This vehicle driving very fast. This person more concerned about getting away from officers than safety of others. So it's going to be extremely dangerous out here. Again, you see this pickup truck, stolen vehicle, and now we're eastbound Georgia from Olympic, moving our way away from LA Live, but getting on very, very tiny streets out here.
And still, you're in the downtown LA area. He's going to run into a lot of one-way streets down there, which he's already done, driving the wrong way on some of those streets. It's a Friday night. There are a lot of people out there tonight. The weather's nice. Very dangerous situation. We saw earlier in the pursuit, Stu, he came very close to a person on a motorcycle when he was on the freeway for just that minute or so.
Well, you know, and that is so right. There are so many people out here this evening. At one point, he was over by MacArthur Park, and when he's out by the MacArthur Park area, there were a lot of people out there. There always are. They've got the bus stop out there and the trains out there, so there's always a lot of pedestrian traffic. And luckily, when he ran that red light over in that area, there was nobody in that crosswalk. I'm being told right now that the sparks that we saw earlier most likely were from his brakes. He apparently has all 4 tires right now, and again losing him behind another building as he's getting off the northbound 110 freeway, working his way back into the downtown area. It's kind of, you see how the camera is moving and how the helicopter is. We have to get back up over the actual vehicle and pick him up again to get that shot. We usually shoot off at an angle. I believe there he is right there in an intersection, working his way northbound. I'm telling my pilot right now is that we're working our way northbound. I believe that's either going to be Broadway or Figueroa, but we're definitely northbound right now. Figueroa is what it is. And again, working our way northbound, you have other LAPD officers out here blocking traffic and trying to keep the safety of the public. It basically is what those officers are doing right there, slowing traffic and allowing this guy to basically run red lights right now. But again, you can see this pursuit continuing on, just been all over the place this evening. No rhyme to reason, making basic blocks, making crazy turns, getting behind these buildings. LAPD on the ground, though, doing a great job keeping up with him, using their radios, getting the information out to the other officers so that they can get in position to basically warn the public and make sure intersections are secured or as secure as they can be. The vehicle is driving a little bit slower right now. That is a little unusual. You got some officers right there standing at that corner, and what they're throwing right there, those are the spike strips. Again, we don't know if he actually ran them over, but those officers did throw them, so perhaps he ran them over.
If you're just joining us here on KCAL 9 News, this is an earlier edition of KCAL 9 News at 8. We're following a police pursuit through downtown Los Angeles this evening that started at about 7:05 p.m. this evening. It's a pickup truck. We believe it is stolen. We also saw this driver actually going into rear-ending drivers. We want to show you some of that video right now. Some very close calls, but actual rear-ending as well, as you see right there. Very precarious situations at times, driving very erratically, and one time even getting onto the 110 northbound freeway. Was it southbound, actually?
Initially, I believe he hopped on southbound and then got off.
On Olympic.
Then, turned around and then hopped on the 110 northbound. What he keeps doing is getting off and on and going back into the downtown area. Maybe he's realizing that's kind of giving the police a tough time keeping up with him because, as Stu said, the airship can't keep an eye on him too well when he gets lost in the buildings there, but they have to rely on the patrol cars down on the ground following him. But he's come very close to other cars. He came very close to someone on a motorcycle when he hopped on the 110 freeway earlier. And here we are. He's again on the surface streets, and he also has been running into one-way streets, which, as you know, are all throughout the downtown area, too.
That's right. And let's go back up to Stu Mendel now. He has an update for us in Sky 9. Stu?
Well, Elsa, Susie, you know what? Right now we are working our way westbound 3rd Street. That's westbound 3rd Street right now. This is his driving persona has totally changed all of a sudden. I don't know what has changed on the ground down there, but you just saw that guy make a stop at a stoplight right there at Bonnie Bray, and I believe we're coming up to another red light right here, where earlier on we would have seen him just try to push his way through. Right now he's just making a turn to the north. I believe this is Alvarado, so we're going to be going underneath the 101 freeway here in a moment. Again, those stolen vehicles, what we do know, LAPD has been in pursuit for quite a while right now. It's a Northeast Division that's going to be the division that started this pursuit. So it happened, it was north of Chinatown in that area where this pursuit started. He's worked his way through downtown twice already. Right now he's working his way northbound on Alvarado, and again, this is another very busy street out here. That truck driving a little bit slower now, a little bit more cautious, and again, just we're working our way over to the 101 freeway. The pursuit has basically slowed down as much as we've seen it since we picked this up earlier on. Helicopter back overhead, this area right here, a lot of low-rise buildings, so we can keep an eye on this thing very, very well. Officers from LAPD still in pursuit down there. Definitely in pursuit. They're behind that vehicle in numbers, and the helicopter is overhead. There's actually 2 helicopters over this one, which is an unusual thing. Usually they just have one. They have one up high and one down low, probably just in case this guy runs so that they can keep a better eye on where he goes. Again, though, didn't make it to the 101 freeway. It looks like we're turning.
And it looks like he's going the wrong way. Is he going the wrong way, or is that a two-way street? Okay, it is two-way.
No, this is a two-way street, and I believe we're back on Beverly and making another northbound turn. And again, right now, we're getting into a very, very tiny road up here. This is Westlake Boulevard, and again, it's very tight out here. You can see how tight these roads are, and it brings you right up to the 101 freeway. Some of these roads are dead ends, but I believe that this one is going to drop them back onto, there we go, onto another road that you can take over the 101 freeway. Again, though, this vehicle moving a lot slower now than it was earlier on. LAPD still in pursuit. Helicopter still over it. The want, stolen vehicle.
Yeah, we're over Echo Park now, Stu, and you know, when we watch these pursuits happen, we often see them on the freeways, obviously, and not that that makes it better or anything like that, but when we do see them on surface streets like this, it really does make us feel uneasy, only because we know that there's passengers out there. We got narrow streets out there. As you mentioned, as Elsa mentioned, we got a very busy night in the downtown Los Angeles area, in the Echo Park area, I'm sure as well. Look at these narrow streets that this driver is trying to drive through. Stu, you've seen it before as well. You said you saw this evening where he was in the Alvarado Street area, and there were a lot of passengers out there. Or, I mean, lots of pedestrians.
There were. Well, there were a lot of people out on the streets tonight, especially over the MacArthur Park area. But you can see this guy really starting to pick up some speed again right now. Unsure what's changing again, but very tight streets down here, very narrow, and those are very dangerous for any pedestrians, for that suspect, and of course for LAPD that have to chase this guy. Again, now we're working our way northbound. I believe we're back on Alvarado, and again, this is a wider street, but there is a lot of traffic as we get up towards Sunset. That vehicle right now is again slowing down. There was one point he really started picking up some speed out there. We got a red light, but now we're starting to see some of that behavior we saw earlier on. He's going against traffic. He's taking those chances, trying to get around all these people, trying to keep that distance between him and those officers. And again, though, that is very, very dangerous. He's putting the public at risk. He's putting those officers at risk. And of course, anybody that might just be wanting to make a turn or something and just don't see this guy coming. Right now, we're on Sunset Boulevard. And again, another busy area this evening out here in the Echo Park area, Silver Lake area, and again, very curvy out here. He's driving a little bit slower, but there again, you have more pedestrians out on the roadway. You got some people on bicycles that actually are stopping probably for all those sirens. We don't hear them, but I can tell you down on the ground, it is very loud.
Yeah, there are quite a few patrol cars that are following this person. The LAPD says this is a stolen pickup truck. They are keeping their distance, as you can see. We haven't seen the LAPD try to make any maneuvers to get him to stop, meaning the pit maneuvers, or any other ways to try to slow this guy down or get him to stop. But right now, he is still slowly now blowing through intersections and driving through residential streets. And the last we heard, he was heading towards Sunset, which is not a good sign. He's already buzzed by LA Live. He's already been down Alvarado Street. He's in Echo Park, Silver Lake area. It's a nice night. There are a lot of people out, and hopefully pedestrians, people on bikes, whoever's out tonight sees the police presence and maybe steps aside.
Absolutely, and we were watching this pursuit now for about 20 minutes or so, and it started just after 7 o'clock this evening in downtown Los Angeles, just north of Chinatown. And as you were mentioning, Elsa, I mean, it really takes police officers. You really have to have that opportune moment to do something like a pit maneuver, perform something like a pit maneuver. Right now we're in Silver Lake, I believe, and they can't just come in and just do it right in front of all these cars. They have to wait for the right opportunity. It has to be safe for other drivers out there, perhaps pedestrians, and also for the officers themselves.
So right now it appears that this driver is going pretty slow, making some decisions slowly, but earlier that wasn't the case. There was one point where he actually bumped another driver, another car, to try to say, hey, get out of my way, I need to come through. He's driven the wrong way on roads in the downtown area. He has run numerous red lights. He has blown through many intersections, as you can see from this video we're rolling earlier next to our live picture here. And there's the bump I had mentioned earlier, trying to get that driver to just move out of the way so he can continue leading police on this senseless chase through the streets of Los Angeles.
Yeah, really interesting that it has stayed on the streets. As we mentioned, this driver did at one point go on the 110 freeway, and we thought maybe he or she might take that for a little while, but they exited rather quickly, actually. Maybe one exit off the freeway where they entered off of Olympic, and back they were in downtown Los Angeles. So we're going to go back up to Stu Mundell right now for an update. Stu.
Well, we're definitely southbound now from Sunset Boulevard, picking one of these smaller streets again. I believe this is Michael Terena. And again, you can see right now, very dark neighborhood, but he's moving kind of slowly as he's making his way down this older neighborhood down here. And again, making these weird turns, basically just randomly picking at whim which way he wants to go. LAPD definitely in pursuit. And again, as I get a little bit wider, I don't want to lose the truck, especially on these little tight streets out here, because it does get very dangerous. And he actually has traffic ahead of him, which is going to make for something very interesting if that person hears these sirens and decides to stop. Again, he might not have any place to go. You were talking about that pit maneuver earlier on. This would not be the place where they would do that, but if his speeds were slow enough, they might have been able to block him in. But right now, it looks like we're working our way out to a larger street out here, and again, it looks like we're just going to be turning and working our way. It looks like we're going to be working our way westbound once again. I'll get you that name of the street. Marathon is where we are right now, westbound Marathon. And again, you can see this vehicle just kind of driving very slow, not stopping for the stop signs. And again, these officers in pursuit. You know, the pit maneuver, again, this would not be the spot where they would do it because of that. First of all, the size of that vehicle. It is a full-size pickup truck. The police cars would definitely be able to do it, attempt it, and make it happen. But for it to spin out in something like that, it would be very, very dangerous.
Stu, I'm sure you see this. He stopped. He stopped here in the middle of the street. Police patrol cars are approaching the truck right now, and it appears the door is opening and someone is getting out.
Very interesting because
yes, definitely, and it looks like he just decided that this was the place where he wanted to stop. And he did, and again, you can see now there's two people in the vehicle. The whole time that we were on it, we were under the impression there was just one. That other door popped open like that. Officers from the LAPD were probably very shocked to see that. And again, not what you want to do. You want to follow these instructions, especially after a pursuit like that. You have a lot of other civilian traffic in the area, putting these officers, making their jobs a lot more dangerous. They have to consider the safety of the public. And again, they don't know if these people are armed or what the deal is. So right now, very dangerous situation for those civilians, and officers are definitely on edge. Have one person standing there by the passenger side, hands up, and then the other one, the driver, got out and basically just laid down there on the roadway. Officers from LAPD are out here in numbers to give you an idea how many are here, and they have their guns out. They are ready to take these people into custody. It appears that this may be a female. The passenger was a female. And again, just an odd spot. This guy just off a marathon just stopped out here and just came to a stop and just basically got out of the vehicle and said, I give up.
Yeah, it's a
again,
scene.
Very unusual pursuit and unusual end.
A scene, Stu, we have seen so many times at the ends of these pursuits where the person gets out of the car and they have the police have them turn around, get down on their knees, and lay down with their hands spread, their legs spread, so they can safely approach them to make sure they don't have any weapons. But we are seeing a typical end to the pursuits we have seen happen so many times here in Los Angeles.
There we go. He's starting to use the center lanes again.
That's right. What you're looking at the left-hand side is the end of a pursuit live from Sky 9. To the right side of your screen is the pursuit from earlier this evening that started just after 7 o'clock this evening north of Chinatown near downtown Los Angeles. The driver went through many streets in downtown Los Angeles, through some surface streets, neighborhood streets, residential areas, and then got on the 110 freeway at one point going southbound, and then got off the freeway at Olympic, and there they were back in downtown Los Angeles again. So obviously this driver didn't get very far. He and his female passenger under arrest tonight, coming to an end here in downtown, or Echo Park rather.